Yeah, what can I say? Hello and welcome to the almost last video on thoughts, theories, and predictions on Jinx chapter 102. I can't believe that it's already the end. How are you feeling about it? I couldn't believe my eyes if I saw it right. Because just before the release of chapter 101, I was calculating how many chapters there may left, since it was said by the creator that the second season might have a couple of more chapters than the first season. Y'all won't understand how betrayed and sad I felt. I don't want to be mean because Manhwa always gave her best without going in a lot of hiatus, but it's fact that a lot of us Jinx readers were disappointed. Ryu, it hurts that it was so sudden and only announced in the last panel of Jinx, as I posted in my recent short videos. It came out of the sudden. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I started Jinx from the very first chapters a couple of years ago, and little heads up beforehand would have been great, so that we could get the chance to prepare mentally. But I know the creators doesn't owe us anything still. But anyway, it's still so sad. What about you? What are your thoughts? Do you think the abrupt ending is justified, or would you like more chapters and more about their life now that they both confess to each other? Let me know in the comments. Don't get me wrong. I love this BL manhwa from the bottom of my heart, and I enjoyed each bump on this ride. But the ending kinda seems rushed to me. So we saw a really desperate Jaekyung who ran all the way from his home to the bus stop and to catch Kim Dan and tell him to not leave, after being a coward and letting him go before. Just look at our man Jaekyung and see how done he looks. Dry and dehydrated lips, red eyes, red under his eyes, and running out during winter without a jacket. I don't know. To me, it kind of seemed that they still not that close to each other, if that makes sense. I don't mean that in an offensive way. It's just, before they had a completely physical and work relationship, then they had some moments where they bonded. Then this horrible incident happened. It's like an important part is missing where they get to know each other more like they really are, without playing a role, where Jaekyung cooks Kim Dan's favorite food. They watch together Jaekyung's favorite retro movie Jaekyung calls Kim Dan Hyung, or they play again any board games. Well, perhaps it could be that of course it's still what's going to happen, but I would have wished if we could see it in a chapter or two, before the whole story ends. But who am I to judge? It's just my impression and thoughts. Perhaps we get special chapters or a side story of both of them. There's only one thing to do, wait for the next Jinx chapter 102 and see how the story is going to end. Actually, I'm so curious what ending is planned. Will we get a time skip? Will we get the moments right after they both return to Jaekyung's apartment? Will we get an intimate moment between each other? I think that's not too realistic since Kim Dan is still struggling with post-surgery wounds. Like, what now? What do you think? I really wanted to know what happened to Kim Dan's grandma. Did she make it? Did Jaekyung and Kim Dan visit her and perhaps even told her about their relationship? And more. If they would visit the hospice, would they visit Jaekyung's former coach? What would they say? What about Jaekyung's boxing career and the whole Team Black members? And more importantly, what about Heesung and Potato? What's going on there? Why was Potato missing some time during training, for example? So many questions. Personally, I just hope both of them finally can be happy together and each for themselves because of everything they had to go through, starting from their early childhood. I hope they both heal their trauma and finally have found someone who they truly can trust without having to fear they might leave, and not playing a role of someone they not are. If I'm not mistaken, it was said that we would get a happy ending, but I'm not 100% sure. So we will see. Now, let's have a look at the possible scenarios from the last thoughts, theories, and predictions video on Jinx. The first possibility was that we would see what each of them is feeling right after they separated. How would Jaekyung feel like, and what would his days and night be like? And what about Kim Dan, where he would settle and live? So it was about what life feels like now that they're separated again. That's what partly happened. Because we saw Kim Dan's thoughts and what he did right after he left the apartment complex. But not Jaekyung's. Man, I would have loved seeing our man desperately putting his shoes on and panicking after Kim Dan left. But it's not completely what happened. The second possibility was about that we would see Jaekyung at the Team Black gym, and perhaps starting to have doubts about being a boxer. He and the coaches haven't really talked about what happened at the match and Jaekyung's mental state. Not what happened for now. But there's a small chance that this still might be relevant for the last chapter of future side stories. Who knows? The third possibility was about Kim Dan visiting his grandmother at the hospice, and perhaps Jaekyung's former coach too. That's also something that didn't happen yet but still is. Likely to happen in the last chapter or possible side stories or special chapters in my opinion. What about the upcoming Jinx chapter 102? What is likely to happen? Let's have a look. Firstly, it is possible, as is already said, that we would see what they're doing after Jaekyung caught Kim Dan. I think they're firstly going back to Jaekyung's apartment so that Kim Dan can put down his things and rest after he said that he got tired and still isn't fully healed. I'm curious, will they be awkward to each other now that they confessed in a way? Secondly, we would get a time skip. I don't know why, but I'm imagining they're both waking up in the morning, cuddling, sun is shining, both slept really good. Kim Dan's body healed fully. A sweet and tender moment of their now life and relationship. Jaekyung perhaps still boxing? Kim Dan being still the physical therapist at Team Black? Realistic, if you ask me. Thirdly, it is possible that we also get a time skip, but with a visit at Kim Dan's grandmother and Jaekyung's coach. We would see their everyday life together. How they're working together and then end the day together. I don't know why, but a time skip just seems logical to me now that there are still things not being mentioned. So, what do you think? What is the final Jinx chapter going to be about? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.